to the solstice. In the south, Angela Weber from Brazil, it is the summer solstice. And for us in the north, it is the winter solstice. And you have now just entered into the green tent circle. You have already been saged, so feel like you've just removed all of that needs to be removed. Sit comfortably and know that in this circle, everyone is loved, valued, and respected. And we're going to have Gayle, and then she will open this circle with an Indigenous ceremony. I will introduce my great and wonderful friend, great-grandmother Mary Lyons. And Mary is going to be speaking uninterrupted of whatever is on her heart related to the solstice. And then we're going to be able to share everyone briefly, because in a sacred circle is where every voice is heard with equal time. And then see that we have in the tent, in the green tent circle, visualize this. There's this wonderful small fire. And we each have some cedar that we're going to put on the fire as we say what we want to let go of, and maybe one hope. That will not be recorded. That will be our private conversation. I want to say about Gayle, not only is she an Indigenous wise woman leader who's just moved from Canada and is now staying with Susan Stanton, who is sick, doesn't even have a voice, and she was going to open us, who started Grandmother Circle the Earth. And she's at Eagle's Nest, which is on the Mississippi. But Gayle does the most amazing artwork. She does, you'll see the drum behind her, and she paints on these drums what Spirit calls her to do for each person. So it's very, very specialized. On our website, you'll see her entire bio, along with Mary and along with Susan Stanton. And you'll also be able to see everything you want to know about that. So do go to our website, and it's the Illuminators series, and you'll find all you need to know. Well, not all you need to know, but about Gayle, who now is near the Mississippi River in Eagle's Nest. So Gayle.
Thank you. I brought some tobacco from a friend who was down last weekend. Mary knows him, Dan Creeley. He would come and for the weekend, and we did ceremonies together. So I brought some drum tobacco, and I have it in a Mississippi shell. So I'm bringing the tobacco and offering it as a prayer to Mother Earth and to the Creator. I have some sage here that Dan also brought, and then we'll light it up. And the feather I will use is the white eagle feather gifted to me in Belgium a few years ago. So I send this prayers and smudging to everyone there and everyone here. And I'd like to just do a real quick blessing ceremony that was shared with us. And Mary was there with me in Greenland a few years ago when Dan shared this blessing from Grandmother Key. She's a Ojibwe elder from Garden Island, Michigan. And it's a blessing ceremony. And I hold it to your head. And I say, may your mind think with clarity. And I hold it to your heart. And I ask that your heart beat with bravery and courage. I hold it to your feet and touch Mother Earth. And I say, may you walk with honor upon her. I hold it to your hands. And I say, may your hands continue to do good work. Blessings and balance and blessings. Now, who I am is a mixed blood. I am mostly Mongolian and a bit of Ojibwe. And then on the Western European side, I'm Celtic and Viking. So I have this war of ancestors flowing through my DNA. Now, I have not lived on any of my tribal lands of my ancestors. I grew up in southern central Ontario, outside of Alderville First Nations. My grandfather was from Alderville First Nations, but I never got to know my family there. So I have been honored by Allaq, the shaman and elder of Greenland. He took me under his wing and initiated me in 2019 as a shaman under the traditions of Greenland, because of our Mongolian DNA as our combined ancestors. I have not walked on the Mongolian lands and I have not participated in their ceremonies, but my cellular memory knows. It's same with my Ojibwe ancestors. I have not walked on their land as an Ojibwe. I have not participated in very many of their ceremonies, only as an observer. So I only remember what my cellular memory tells me. So the traditions that I follow are those of my ancestors through my DNA, not that I have been taught by an outside source or the people around me, but what is within me. I was honored by a Tibetan Lama and given the name Serap Dorchi, meaning wisdom diamond. And she said that I was born with the wisdom. So that was the cellular memory that I was given. I died at birth, and that is why I'm awake and aware since the moment I was born. So I use all of these traditions that I have flowing through my system. And I'd like to offer a special thank you to Susan Stanton here on the Mississippi River, and to Anne for their inclusion, and for Allaq. I spoke to Allaq this morning, and he said to send his love and blessings to the ceremony today. I worked with his concept and planning committee to help build his healing center and hospital at the Arctic Circle in Greenland. And with that, we have started the Greenlandic Grandmothers Council so that they can have the input and be included in this planning of this hospital. And Anne has helped us bring the grandmothers and the Greenlandic women to the United Nations as a parallel event for the Commission of Status of Women. Inclusion is so important. And that is my message today, is inclusion, because we all have something to share. I remember going to the Wisdom of the Origin conference in New Mexico back in 2012 for the changing of the guard, so to speak, of the end of the Mayan calendar and the birth of the new dawn of the Hopi prophecy. And I just sort of fell into that event. And I was embraced by 500 people for not what I didn't know, but what I did know, because we all brought something to the table from our ancestors, from our own personal experiences, from our community. And we all shared with each other what we knew, what we learned, what we suffered, and we were each included. So inclusion is so important in this world, because when we're left out in the cold, we lose hope and we die. A sad, sad life. So I would like to call, and this is one of the traditions that Allaq taught me, is on the Inuit Kilot. I would like to call in our ancestors, yours and mine, to join us today. And I call in Allaq to please come and join and be in ceremony with us. Oh, 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 he to na he ko no he a he to na he ko he a he oh, oh, One last thing I would like to share before Mary takes over is a newest gift from Susan. It's an eagle's skull. I came here to Eagle's Nest hoping to find an eagle feather, and I searched around the property and through the woods, and no eagles, no eagle feathers. And then Susan said, I'd like to gift you this in exchange for painting my buffalo skull. So instead of an eagle feather, I got an eagle skull. I feel so honored to be carrying this along. And Mary's met this feather when we were in Greenland together. It was the eagle feather that I am told by the friends who gave it to me that it once belonged to Sitting Bull. Now, I can't prove that it once belonged to Sitting Bull. And the honor is that these men who gave it to me believed that it did. And that's all that matters, that they honored me with this anyway. And I got to share the story with Mary when we were in Greenland together back in 2015. Thank you all for joining. And I thank you, Anne, for inviting me to be part of this special ceremony. And thank you, Mary. I hope you're enjoying the drum that my daughter made for you. That back in 2017, when we met in Greenland, she commissioned me to do a drum, and I was apprentice of my daughter. And I believe, and I was told that her first drum had to be a giveaway. So I said, this is a special opportunity for you to do your first drum for great-grandmother Mary as your giveaway drum before you go into the drum making. And we had that honor to share it with Mary. So I thank you, Mary. Blessings.
Thank you, Gail, and give our love to Susan Stanton and our prayers that she gets well very, very soon. Another great pleasure of mine is to introduce you to great-grandmother Mary Lyons. She's an Ojibwe leader, elder. She is known worldwide. I can't believe how much she travels because I don't want to travel anymore. And she's doing all the traveling for all of us to all the environmental large meetings, COP 29, COP 27, I get them all mixed up, but she's been to every single one and bringing the indigenous voices into the high-powered meetings where they need to be heard. She is an empowerment coach, an activist, and an author, international keynote speaker, seminar leader, been at the Parliament of World Religions, been a lot at the Climate March, the Global Elders Gathering on Climate Change, and is an observer at the United Nations on Indigenous issues. Just to mention a few benefit projects, Mary has been twice to us in Florida, and both times we have been greatly enriched. One was to do a whole healing program, and then we ended with a water ceremony. And I've known Mary and loved Mary, I don't know, all these years. She always has the kindest heart always giving, very, very generous, giving of her wisdom, giving of herself, giving of her love. And her book, which is called Wisdom Lessons, and all of this you can get on our website, and you can find out where you to order it, is a wonderful book on self-empowerment, self-care, and healing. I'm not going to say anything more because I want you just to hear the words from great-grandmother Mary Lyons.
Bonjour. Mino Gesep, Mino Oshki Babon, Nijnibi Ikwa Edisnakas. I said in my language, good morning, happy new winter. My given name is Second Water Woman. My colonized English name is Mary Lyons. I stand at the center of 7 generations. So I'm known as Great Grandmother Mary Lyons. My fellow sisters call me Kokam, or within our circle with all my sisters, such as Anne and everyone else, we very informal. We call each other by our first names. So, but people know me as Great Grandmother Mary Lyons. You know what an honor it is to sit amongst all of you. And I was really thinking about while I was listening to the prayers, and I can remember Angangak at the Parliament and a few other places and his stuff with his drums and his songs and his stuff from the Inuit tribes, from our brothers and sisters from the north, brought back a lot of memories. And so I want to send out to Greenland and to the north and out there, you know, warm wishes for him, because I know he is without his beloved during these days. And I know that was such a beautiful relationship she had walked on. And the other part of it too is, you know, speaking of that, with this new bright light of longer days in out there, you know, within Anishinaabe Ojibwe, this is a time we storytell. And within these storytellings, we try to keep our ancestors' connections from the past going to the future. As I say, you know, I've sat with my mother, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother. And now I sit with my daughter, my granddaughter, and my great-granddaughter. So that's 3 generations behind me and 3 generations before me. And so the 7th generation, as we're taught as a Medewan, as I sit at the center and I hold those links together, I sing the songs of my great-grandmother to my great-granddaughter so that information is never lost. Just thinking about how new beginnings happen is that you can't really ponder on yesterday. You can look back and reference. And one of the things we like to tell individuals is that this is a great way to do a checklist. You know, it's like, how well am I today, you know, of growing within this life that we've been given? You see, if you take your hands, and if you look at your hands as 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, hopefully we'll get to be 100 years old. My elders used to say, this is life. Some will put it like this, some will put it like this, some will put it like this, some will put it like this. But this is life in this world. Because one of the things is a bright light within this world is your spirit. And your spirit, as I think a lot of you have heard me talk, is that our traditional values and the first stories that we heard during the winter months and the stuff of new life springing within this planet is that we had this original agreement with Creator, that we would come as a student, walk as a student, and leave as a student. And when our spirit came, we would come into our mother's womb and swim in her oceans for up to 9 months while she built this beautiful blanket of a body around us, right? And we all know water holds memory. So it's like we entered this beautiful chip of like this computer we're talking about. It downloaded us with all the memory of our ancestors since the beginning of time. So then when we entered this world, we took that first breath, air. And that air, then we felt the warmth of the fire. Then we planted our feet and we nourished off from earth. Those are only 4 elements. 4 elements that seems to get lost in time and within memory, because those 4 elements shows no prejudice. Everybody within this planet needs it. And part of this story that we tell our children, and we tell in healing circles and out there, while the snow is on the ground of this new birthing, this new awakening, this new sunlight, this longer days and this stuff that's coming, the new winter solstice, is that Creator allowed you a little bit more time to dance in the light and the goodness and within the power of who you are. Because right now it's kind of like that glistening light is like your ancestors are starting to see how well you have done while you were here. You know, they say when you come to the end of your days, you're going to turn around and you're either going to smile or you're going to weep, because you're going to leave a legacy of what your truth was, because you left the imprint on the individuals all around you. So we always call this, you know, our fire. It's our light within us. And so I was very happy to hear Anne say, you know, when we do our circle, is that, you know, we will be taking this light, you know, with a seed, or we'll be laying it in that fire. As Anne told you, I travel a lot, and it's not really by choice. It's I have such faith and such appreciation when I open my eyes in the morning. First of all, I'm so grateful that I get to see the light and the fire, and I get to take that breath. I got one more day to be here, right? So what can I do today? So I always say, Creator, you know, thank you for this day. What path you put before me, I'll walk down it, because that's how much I believe within my ancestors and my Creator. Whatever comes that way, comes that way. Sometimes I have to be reminded, or my daughter reminds me. She's one of my handlers. She goes, Mom, you can't keep saying yes. You just can't keep saying yes. So the last 2 years being at home and being on the internet is that we're so used to Zoom meetings that when people ask me, I said, yes, yes, yeah, sure, no problem. Put it on the calendar, no problem. And my daughter says, Mother, there's airline ticket verifications and this stuff that you got to be here and there. And I said, oh, no, it's going to be on Zoom. Honey, you know, it's going to be on Zoom. She goes, no, you've got confirmation of airline tickets from here and there. So I have to kind of be very careful of what I say and what this energy is, because this new day here is, they opened up the doors and I have a choice to walk towards the light, this new light that is being presented before us. It comes right now because it seems, at least for me, I can only speak for me, the we in me, because I always say the we, it's my spirit and this body, right? And all my ancestors in me. It's never the me. So we believe within this walk and this path and this carrying this light, because we got all this storage of energy up inside of us, because we're so used to moving and about and dropping all these little tricklets of happiness, or, you know, or just even, you know, just being that good friend, that good sister, that good grandmother, that good auntie and this stuff. But just even if we're listening, not necessarily have an opinion, but listening, and maybe not so much as agreeing, but we listen, we pay that respect. This new beginning that we're starting to experience right now, we've been saying, is that for each one of us, we have to take that moment and that pause and just kind of do some reorganization within us, because we have this storage of energy from this last couple of years that is just wanting to burst out of all of us, right? I see my dear sister friend Holly on here. Some things happened in Florida down there. You know, I just wanted to run down there and pray and help clean up or do what I want to do. There's my other dear Hawaiian sister that you think I travel, she travels. She was in Europe the same time I was in Europe. And, you know, I think everybody does their part, right? But to just sit and to ground yourself and to center yourself, such as the green tent has provided for each one of us. I said, we have time to have that calmness and to reflect and to gather and to sort things out and to make passages within that righteousness of that light My granddaughter sometimes says to me, she says, Cookum, she says, what do you keep talking about when you say that? And she says, I kind of got a feeling, because I want to be so kind. Then she'll tell me a story about her friend. Her friend was sad and, well, she wanted to be so nice. And she goes, I don't know what's going on with you. She said, but can I give you a hug? And I said, honey, that's the light. That's the light that you're gifting forward. That's what Cookum does when she goes out here. I think I have another dear Niji sister from the north, Tanya. I think she's in here someplace and out there. That sister has stood on the grounds of Mother Earth in such strong prayer and such breathing weather and this stuff, saying, looking out for that water and this stuff and out there. So everybody plays a part, right? We get to go in a fellowship and kind of like a sisterhood or a brotherhood or a humanityhood and this stuff. And we can take a little bit of this new light from one another or gifts of that light from one another. And that's called humanity. It's humanity at its best. I really sit and think sometimes, and I think a lot of you know too, I travel with the grandmothers of the sacred Wean out there, and people ask us, what are we going to talk about? We don't know. We actually have no idea what we're going to talk about until we're in the actual audience. And we always say to Creator and our ancestors in us, let me be the hollow bone and let me hear what I must say prior to what is going to happen. I think what we have to do is just pause for a minute, and we have to organize ourselves to see how we are doing. First of all, if our home base, our center of who we are, if we're doing okay, then we can move out into this world being okay. But if we center ourselves within our chaos, we're going to go into this world and dump some of that chaos off. So we have to really do some house cleaning on this new solstice, because we have these times where we have the schedule for ourselves to walk within this world as a student. My father used to always say, don't you ever say you're going to teach because you're telling somebody they're stupid. How would you like to say, I'm going to teach you something? Most people kind of usually taught, okay, I'll learn. But no, he says, it's always more simpler to say, would you like to come over here? I'd like to share something with you. And when you share something with somebody, they resonate and they may take it in. And it's kind of up to you if you want to keep it or not, but they shared something with you. They didn't teach you and tell you what's right or wrong. Because usually they say at the fist of teaching is you stand at the top while everybody's looking at you. And with indigenous all around the planet, and the planet is made in a circle, we sit within that circle. So he said, so share. You share, and as it moves around, all collectively have that. You're going to be walking along life and something's going to happen and you adjust to it. And maybe it could be Creator saying, take your time, take a deep breath. Maybe not that, or maybe you're walking too quickly on that pathway. Maybe you need to slow down. So I always say, at least for me, I don't have that much time in this world to be angry. And mind you, I get angry, but I always try to pinpoint what I'm upset about. If I burnt my toast, I'm so mad at myself that I didn't pay attention. I have to identify stuff like that. Or if I get up in the morning, I have to say to my grandkids, because we live generational, listen, Cookum is just in one of these mood states. So I want to apologize right now if I hurt your feelings. That sends that red flag up. Oh, she's in a mood, right? And if they come to the house and my house is spotless cleaning, they really knew I was really mad, because that's what I do. I can clean like crazy when I'm upset. So it's trying to use that energy that we have in us in that positive way. Because a lot of times, if you can't identify that energy and that light in you, it can ricochet all over you and just resonate, and it can be misinterpreted. So every day is a learning day. And with this new solstice, with all the ceremonies and celebrations that are going on within this time, a majority of people talk about this is a new beginning. It's time to look back. It's not time to give yourself a report card of an F. It's like you give yourself a report card of a pat on the back. It's like, wow, I didn't know that, or I'm glad to hear that, I'm going to try that. You have to be willing to take that next step in a positive way, because no matter where you go, no matter who upsets you, no matter who brings you that ray of sunshine of happiness, your energy is going to reflect it, because you're going to be collecting all these little kind of spirit sparks all over the place, and it's going to be in you. So if you don't share them modestly, right, and you hoard them, it's going to take one spark as you walk in the future, and you're going to explode with such anger, because those little spirit sparks, just like an atomic bomb, goes off in you. So that's when you have to step back, you have to own it, and you have to do some house cleaning on kind of certain things out before you move forward. So these are the stories that we try to move forward and not say, remember what you did bad yesterday. Well, that was yesterday. That's old news. We don't have enough time in the future. Mind you, I'm done with this hand of life. And this hand of life is coming very, very short here. So I have to make sure that what I want to leave behind in this stuff is being positive. I love happiness because we have so much sadness in this world. And so the thing is, that good medicine within you, it will spark out of you. You can walk by people you don't even know, or you can hear a laugh and this stuff, but you, every one of you in here, knows that goodness of good feeling, that you feel that trust of that energy. Because I know there's many of you in here that I know that I can go by you and this stuff, and I collect that good energy from you. So, this is just something that we have to be willing to be able to have these conversations with, even if they're in short stories.
What we're going to do now, in hearing Mary's words and knowing that Mary is going to be doing this grandmother's blessing for us to go out into celebrate the returning of light and being the light, is that each one of us, in a few words, and see yourself, here's the fire, put the cedar into the fire. Yes, either what you want to let go, or what kind of short message, such as love or compassion, that you want to give to our beautiful circle with Mary. This will be private.
Thank you all for trusting within this circle and laying your yesterdays into the fire and moving forward. But most of all, I was very humbled to see the trust and that energy of this love that we have for humanity. That is pretty much the foundation of new friendships. So I want to say Chini with you all. A lot of these prayers that I bring forward are taken all over the world, and these are instructions for my ancestors to move forward and to awake that little light inside you when you are in such a dark place, to remind you that what power you wish you have really is in you. It just has to be awoken. So Mino Gesip, in my time, it's still, we say within the new solstice, Mino Oski Baban, the happy new winter. Thank you, Great Spirit, for this day. We come to you as a humble people that are willing to do the caretaking of what we promise, to keep the seeds and our homes pure, organic, what was gifted to us in the beginning. Kichimani-du, Great Spirit, allow each of us to feel your breath in the winds. Allow us to join in your breath so that we may walk another gifted day. Allow us to feel the warmth of Grandfather Sun and the beauty of Grandmother Moon. Allow us the passages and pathways of our ancestors, so we all will continue to recede. Kichimani-du, Great Spirit, we come to you for your wisdom and your guidance. We come to you to listen with sharp ears so we may hear what is expected of us. We come to you to nourish our memories of yesterday so we may never forget who we really are. We come to you with a weight of shame. We ask you for your forgiveness and to set our burdens down, knowing we have learned from these mistakes. Kichimani do, Great Spirit, make each of us wise so we may understand our fellow neighbor. Make each of us grateful so we may spread the healing forward. Make each of us strong. Give us the courage so we can move forward in a good way. Make each of us mindful to be kind and to carry an open heart. Ichimani do, Great Spirit, bless each and everything within your house, Mother Earth, with love, respect, bravery, truth, honesty, humility, and most of all, may each of us carry our ancestors' wisdom forward. Chimiguch, 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 Kichimani do. This is a reminder that during these solstices, regardless if it's closing and opening, is that we remind ourselves we kind of have to plug in and to know that we matter. We matter within the space that we were gifted and planted in. Humanity, the four-leggeds, the ones that have wings, the ones that soar in the oceans and this stuff, we're all of the oneness. We depend on this home we call Mother Earth. We all carry such awesome energy, and that's what keeps us connected. So when you see somebody's light or something going out, make sure you share a little of yours, and it can be in a smile. It could be in a song, or maybe change it to a nice tune on the radio, whatever it may be. You know, mine the other day happened to be Old Bing Crosby, and then the song after came on, and this stuff was our great grandmother, the seat that I took her place in this stuff, you know, because she really loved these Christmas songs of joy. So the mess I was in, I was still hyped up. They all seemed to come to me and to just really shower me with such good energy and that there. So this, I would like to share forward with each one of you is when you start feeling your light going out, it's okay, take a deep breath, rest, and just be mindful that you have the abundance of sparks to build that flame growing and moving forward again. So it was such an honor with me to share this space with you. And I look forward to sharing more time with each one of you. So Chimigwech, 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 Chimigwech. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Great Grandmother Mary. Yes, I'm sure you'll be back, and I'm sure you're going to the Parliament of World Religions, right?
We're hoping to be there.
We'll help make it happen. So anyway, okay, we'll keep the fire going in the green tent, knowing that the green tent circle is always open. We're open every Saturday, and that's just an open time for us to share what is on our hearts. As Mary said, the most important thing we can do besides share our light is share our information, share our stories, and really love and support one another. So that is there. We also have a Facebook group, if you're on Facebook, which is called the Green Tent Circle, in which the link for our Saturdays is there. And then our upcoming things is that on the 21st of January, we're going to have Gayle-Allaq, who I know you're all going to just greatly appreciate as she talks about the divine feminine and the illumination and the healing of the divine feminine. So we just have a wonderful time. What can I say? I'm so blessed to be able to be in the green tent. So if that's okay with everybody, we will say goodbye. Have a wonderful, peaceful, loving holiday season and New Year's, and see you in 2023. I'll blow the candle up.
Thank you, Anne. Yeah.
Thank you, Anne.
You're welcome.
Thank you all. Thank you so much, Anne.
Thank you.
So
Great
good.
grandmother Mary Lyons, thank you so much.
Aloha, happy holidays, and happy New Year's also. Bye-bye.
Mary, you do a lot of water protecting, trying to stop the pipeline, you do the protesting, you speak out, you do water ceremonies, which you did out here, but you are really an amazing, amazing advocate for Mother Earth. She thanks you. I'm thanking you on behalf of Mother Earth. How's that for being bold?
Well, I'll take that. I'll take that. For me, to stay simple, I stand within those four elements because we all share that breath, that air. What happens in the Amazon, Brazil, beautiful Brazilian lady that's there. I was with Chief Nimawa and the Brazilians in Egypt and listened to a lot of the hardships that come from that area. And they're trying so desperately to protect their homelands. And we have to really support those areas in out there because we can't have people that are coming in and mining and buying and selling these four elements because, this is the water, right? And here's the trees. And the trees are in relationship with all this water, right? And when the water is going under, it has this memory. So it flows by and wants to say hi to all these roots and these trees and out there. And when they're mined and they're taken down, that water, all that memory in out there kind of gets lonesome from it. And so it kind of loses that passage of that memory of where to go to have that relationship. So then the earth starts to eventually become deserty. And so we have to be very mindful that because those trees, when they're in that water, those are straws sharing that relationship, and that water is coming up and it's coming up in the trunk and it's getting into the branches and it's making all these beautiful leaves and stuff, and it's just swishing and it's giving us air and movement, and it's just cleaning a lot of the air and it's giving us oxygen. If we take those down, we are just giving ourselves, we are in it within the slow suicide. And if we don't pay attention of what media and everybody tells us what we need and what we should and which should be comfortable, we're shortening the beautiful organic life for our grandchildren and their children. And people are not realizing the menace that greed has happened within this planet within the last 150 years. Everybody around the planet lived organically. If you look at it the last 150 years, we never had water bills, we never had light bills, we never had gas bills. And people say we need this to survive. We lived thousands of years in survival and healthy and family and this stuff prior to this. And we have to keep that memory alive. If it's forgotten, it's going to be like you took the instructions away of how to breathe. The other part of it too is our waterways. It hurts the Anishinaabe Ojibwe people, but it's a lot of people, up in the 5 bodies of water within the center of the United States and Canada, which we call Turtle Island, is Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior. Those up there, those waterways, that is where the most purest of waters is left within this planet, and we're very grateful for it. But what we're doing with something that is coming in from Canada going through that we do not benefit from it whatsoever. And they will break. Those pipelines will break, and what it's going to do to the waters is going to harm everyone. So when we're out there in prayer, is for the foolishness to stop and to awake and to say, we don't need that. They'll come back and say to us, well, you flew over here and you drove over there. There's things you can do within moderation. And this is what we try to teach our young ones in out there, bring your bags. Sometimes you don't really need to go to the store to have a whole bunch of cans of corn and this stuff. You can go to your local markets, support our fellow farmers and this stuff, grow your own tomatoes and this stuff, to keep that memory alive that every individual is very capable of doing their own gardening, their own farming within this planet, like our ancestors did for thousands of years, and have them be so mindful and only take what you're going to use. You don't need a massive abundance. So these are the songs we're trying to sing forward, because right now, the only thing that we talk about is when you look within your own environment, you have to really think about how many hospitals are going up, how many cancer clinics are going up. You know, it's just so on and so on, and where the root of some of these problems are. So it's just having to step in and do your own due diligence, try to do what you can and move forward. That's all we're just in there asking. And to have a conversation of why all of this stuff is so desperately needed. We can go to Europe. We've been in Europe. There's people that are like 85. There was 192 just cruising in a bike. Only held his hand. They only looked like they were 60. And I thought, they got it absolutely right. You know what I mean? And when they sit down, there's no television, there's no phones, there's no mass refrigeration and this stuff. They got their smaller fridge. They sit and have a meal, fresh bread and all this stuff. So there's a lot of parts of this world are doing it still absolutely right. And we still have to go in there and cherish and do what our ancestors did. And we have to be mindful to teach these young ones that, because right now, media has them so absorbed within these phones and them talking on it and then being in it and parenting them, you know, they're their best friends and stuff, and you don't know who's going on in them. So you have to just remind them that there's a better, brighter world out there. You just have to be you. You have to share in a hug and a laugh. So that's what we go out there and do. To be as friendly and human and share within that love and joy within that oneness is, you know, I don't know. I walk in the hardest things. I'm surprised I'm still sitting here. But you know what? I walk in with the intention of love, pure love that I'm coming in, and joy from the heart that I have, because I'm so happy and I'm so content. And the thing is, even though people are doing naughty, it's that probably, I can't put their finger on it. I just have to say, prayers up when they were little, they probably weren't taught the right thing. So you can't force the blame on them. You know, all you can do is pray for that awakening in them, that they see what's happening, to share in that one breath. Ta-da, there's my little spiel. And ta-da, 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 ta-da. Yay! That book you can open anywhere. My father said, if you can't open a book and get something out of it, don't write it. I went, oh my gosh, you know, but these are lessons. These are just reminders from our ancestors. You know, anything that's put in there it's reminding you that you carry all the master keys on all the doors of the universe in you. Nobody is greater. Nobody is less. Stand within this world, equal within those four elements. We take in that same breath. We feel the warmth from the sun. You know, we nourish from that waters, because our spirit's in this plant of a body and it needs that water. We're all residents of one home, and it's EARTH, Earth, happens to be our mother. It's such a joy, because I was very fortunate to sit with a lot of people that never like to be known as famous. They just happened to walk that path of goodness, and they couldn't help that media put them in that. The same message is pretty much, we just want to share in the space of spirituality within the pureness of love. So that's where I want to leave you guys at, is render a smile every now and then, because you don't know who you're going to be walking next to that may see it and just may need it. And that's a gift beyond $1 million, at least for me. You know, you can embrace and keep that warm smile, but money comes and goes.